what are we going to do as people's jobs start being taken fairly aggressively? Luckily, there's a massive population drop coming, so maybe everything is just fate and it's going to work out okay. But I feel like we might get like very, very, very good AI across every pillar of art before there aren't any more people to make art.
This is the sweep of the future.
I'm federal.
Okay.
I'm trying to get home. I got my boys with me.
Who do you work for?
DHS.
Do you have your ID with you?
No, I don't.
Okay. But if I called them, they'd verify that you're a
100%, bro.
Luckily, there's a massive population drop coming, so maybe everything is just fate and it's going to work out okay.
Electronic wizardry is catching up with the modern deadbeat, and it does it in about 10 seconds.
I feel I've accessed channels of information in my own self that I didn't even suspect existed.
Because basically what's happening is someone that you don't know is talking about you and your financial condition to someone you can't even see.
It kind of seems like when we get politicians elected, they do what they want to instead of paying attention to the Constitution. I would urge you to look up the USS Liberty on the internet and take a look.
All right, you're watching Talking Sweet with Pat and Pete. I'm Pat.
And I'm Pete.
And yeah, let's get into it. So what's going on in the big wide world of looks like the government just shut down.
Yeah, it's a real Wild West right now, and I'm about to tell you why. It's fucking, oh man.
So you were telling me you think they this came at a very convenient time for them to do the whole government shutdown because what was it that you were bringing up, the CISA?
Yeah, so this is like an act that is getting rebranded right now as the PACT Act right now, and I was doing research on it. It was the first time that like it really scared me and it really blew my mind because it's like I'm looking at all these different things on the news, in the media, and it's like this is a government shutdown. They're calling it this or whatever. But what I'm researching shows like directly about our podcast. Like I'm only doing research for our podcast and doing research with comedy and trying to just be a better stand-up and trying to be a better YouTuber and a better podcaster, I guess. Then it kind of turned into, this is kind of the whole reason why we have this government shutdown. You look at CNN, you look at Fox News, and they say something along the lines of like Speaker Johnson or Donald Trump and like using sound bites of them saying like, oh, the Democrats want us to give rights to immigrants. And it's like, that's just what they're saying with lights and cameras. What they're doing behind closed doors, I know because this, like what I'm looking up is, I forgot exactly what it stands for, but CISA of 2015, it was the Obama era 10-year digital constitution is the phrase I'm kind of coming up with, but it's a constitution that only lasts 10 years and it governs everything that has to do with you know the internet and cybersecurity and cyber awareness, like cyber threats, bugs, whatever. But it's like right now we're in between the two. We're in between it sunsetted, you know, when the government shut down, and we don't really have a government yet. So just regarding cybersecurity and technological oppression upon the human, the average person, upon the American people, like that's kind of all of my questions I have with this government shutdown. It has nothing to do with immigrants, has nothing to do with health care. You know what I mean? It has nothing. I care about next? Yeah, I care about what's coming next with this podcast and what's coming next with my comedy, you know?
Like what's the new Cybersecurity Act gonna look like? How is that gonna affect the internet as we know it?
And we know it's just like
a
domino that it's going to be, that if it's not a part of what comes out of this government shutdown, it's going to be that, and then that domino makes the PACT Act or whatever after that. Because it's only, yeah, Then you start talking about politics and how DC works, but it's like that's kind of like what goes through my mind of like it's not the Obama administration, you know, it's not the same people,
but it's the same.
But it's the same game, it's the same government, it's the same nation, you know what I mean? And I'm the same person. See, I had
same bullshit going on.
Yeah, same bullshit, same oppression, and it's like I have a really unique kind of perspective into this month that we're living through right now. We're right in the middle of it because I was in Navy supply and I worked in financials. I handled a budget of like 320,000, which is actually not that much. Carriers be handling like millions and millions, right? So it's like this kind of like contracting gig I had. It was like a chief in the Navy that was my boss. It was me that was middle management, whatever reservist they can throw into this supply office, and then a civilian person. So I went through a chief dying on me, and I went through a reservist, or excuse me, a civilian getting retired. So the whole weight of the Navy Reserve was on my fucking shoulders at one point. And also, before all that really happened, though, the other time that this happened under first term Donald Trump happened with a month-long government shutdown, and it was the exact same shit. It was the border, it was the Democrats, it was whatever. But that was 18, you know, that was 17. I think it was 18, like February 18, I think is the exact month. But like, that was not the time frame we're talking about with the CISA, you know, with this Cybersecurity Act.
It was something else at the time.
So the question is, like, we are on the internet having this conversation in between these two laws that govern our voices, I guess. What else governs my voice talking right now into our channel, you know? What else is a piece of literature that I gotta fucking abide by? Because I always thought I had free speech, Patrick.
Yeah, that's so too. And then, I mean, it's not in America, but I mean, it's probably going to be happening here soon. What they're doing in the UK with arresting people for Twitter posts and what have you, and it's, I don't know, it seems a bit overreaching, or it's a bit more than overreaching. It is overreaching, but it seems like that's kind of the path that we're headed down with, you know, how they've been talking about things as of recently. You know, they're trying to, you know, curb hate speech and.
But some people believe hate speech is free speech. So what?
Because it is, and it's, you know.
It's
not to say, you know, you shouldn't be going out and doing hate speech, but you could, you know, if you have an agenda, you can use, you know, terms like that as like a blanket term to, you know,
a catch-all for whoever you don't want,
for anything that, you know, you don't agree with or doesn't agree with you, or, you know.
Instead of clipping a man's tongue out, you just draft up this cybersecurity policy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, though, isn't it?
Because I mean, it's very easy for them to say, you know, when you're criticizing a certain place that, you know, that you know, don't like a particular type of person, and, you know, they try to conflate those two all the time, and it's grasping for straws most of the time. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, people should be able to say whatever they say, even if it's wrong, even if it's, you know, even if it pisses you off. That's what free speech is. I don't know. Jeez, I went off on a rant already.
Speaking of free speech, we got speaking of free speech, we got some things going on around here. We got some things coming up. We have the No Kings protest. Put that on your Apple calendar. Make sure you put, you know, some time like around 11 a.m. noonish.
I'll make sure that I show up so that Palantir gets my face on record for being at a protest.
Right, and don't forget that LRAD technology.
Yeah, you gotta.
Would you tell the people a little bit about LRAD technology there, Patrick?
So, LRAD technology, for Those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it's long-range acoustic device. Basically, it's an anti-protest tool, or a crowd dispersal tool, if you will. Basically, it plays a sound in your head, and they can make it really loud and unpleasant. And basically, if they, play it on a block, they can clear a whole block and make everyone leave the street all of a sudden.
It's the thunder gun in Nazi zombies.
Basically, yeah. It's
but in real life.
really interesting, but it's, I guess, better than, rubber bullets, which they love using, and they love, getting people in the fucking head with those, which is ridiculous. A lot of times press will get fucking, lose an eye.
Scramble-brained daughter at a protest, or rubber bullet son at a protest.
And that's the thing, is when you really look at who's going to these protests, it's the hottest women that you know.
You got to say that without saying it, Patrick. You can't. You can't.
You get
Who the fuck? The women who show up to these protests are rather beautiful. You gotta say something like that. You can't be like.
I wouldn't particularly consider them threatening.
They're not exactly ugly. You gotta say that.
I don't think you need to.
They're psyoped women, also though. They're also very psyoped. So they're not really.
Yeah, everyone's psyoped.
Everyone's
psyoped. But it's just most of the time when you're seeing these protests, it's just hot 22-year-old women just trying to make their voice heard, and then you get fucking,
Let's paint that picture. A who's who of the Austin, Texas protest. Who would show up to the No Kings protest in the state capitol? Alex Stein, I assume, will be there. Yep, probably. Who else will show up? A lot of Hitler stashes will be there. Yep.
Let's show up in an interview.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that asked me to be his cameraman, and he's gonna go agitate people, I guess.
Jeez, I don't know. That's
a lot of blue-haired women, that's for sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. Antifa, Trantifa. How this guy is a free for all.
I mean, I guess everyone's a Tifa,
Yeah, there's variants of every tribe. There's black Tifa, brown Tifa, yellow Tifa.
Describe Antifa for me, if you could sum it up in a.
Is the Antifa in the room with us?
It's just, yeah.
We have this, I believe, since I've lived here, this is now the second No Kings protest in Austin, our state's capital. And the first time, this is what's interesting, okay? It happened in the summer. And I was just going to work when this happened. It was ridiculous. It was me just operating a damn Lime scooter, and it didn't work. It stopped working. Like the same way if I was a fugitive and the red light that I just drove past like scanned my face, and then my Lime scooter will stop working. Same thing, but the No Kings protest, I'm just going through the area and they got geofenced the fuck off, right? So whatever, right? That happened to me and I'm just going to work. I don't work there anymore, but that happened the first time. And I remember this date exactly when it happened. It was June 14th. The reason why is that happened on let's say it was a Saturday or whatever, right? That was Donald Trump's actual birthday that they did this on. So it's why would you do that? Oh, we don't like Donald Trump. Sure, of course. But why would they have a protest for a guy's birthday? Because he in DC, not in Austin, in DC was having a On this birthday, it was supposed to be a military parade on behalf of the U.S. Army, mostly just the Army. It wasn't like we're having sailors or...
is that the one that was sponsored by Palantir?
Probably, yes. Yeah, the one with a guy holding an airplane like this, like it's a little paper airplane. That one, did you see that video of a dude holding a fucking drone that's worth probably thousands or millions or whatever, and he's just going like this, walking down a street in DC in a parade? So anyway, that's a thing. And when this happened, I don't know if that's the exact same parade, but like this happened and he wanted to do this parade and it was in conjunction with his birthday. I looked at that and I walked through that in Austin and I went to work and I'm working that shift at that very shitty job and I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy didn't choose when to be born.
I mean, it's true. You know, it's...
This guy, the Army came before Donald Trump, so it's like, what the hell do you want him to do?
This guy didn't choose to be honeypotted by the Mossad, and then
I'm thinking to myself,
and
how many
blackmailed to bend the knee to. All right, we got to bleep some of that out.
It's just crazy how that works. It's just crazy how it's like, we saw it happen the first time. Here's the second one now. And we're blaming it on whatever. I don't know. What is it this time? What's this week? Why is it this week?
I don't know. It's trans...
I think the government shutdown is the idea. Hey, we're right in the center of the government shutdown.
Let's blame it on trans Mexicans while we're at it. You know, it's all those trans Mexicans... they had to shut down the government.
Okay, so that one is trans Tex-Mexifa. That's there. They're very low on the totem pole, actually. Trans Mexifa. That's a whole other thing.
That's like if you're trans and you own camo cargo shorts, then you're Antifa. That's I don't know. I don't make the rules. Look it up.
Because there's trans people and they wear whatever they wear. But then there's trans people that are dressed like me in all black. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm dressed like Trans Tifa right now. I just am missing the.
You know what's really interesting? I haven't really fact checked this, but I don't really need to. It just makes sense.
You feel it in your soul?
Yeah.
Source, Patrick.
Apparently, during the RNC, like Grindr crashed in the city that they were having it. Like they couldn't handle the volume that was.
Where was it? Philadelphia, I believe. Yeah, that's crazy.
So
that sounds right, though. Yeah.
Another interesting thing, you know, there's 100 U.S. senators, right?
Right.
Do you want to guess how many of them are funded by a PAC?
Okay, so this is the Senate.
A PAC of what?
A PAC.
They're funded by a PAC. I don't know what of, but...
I think I know which PAC you're talking about, that particular PAC. Well, we have 100 senators, 2 of them for each state. And we have, so much influence from many different PACs.
All right, I'll just tell you.
At least half, I don't know, 50. Let's say 50, 52, 53.
You think it's 52,
52, 53?
You're being hopeful. It's 93 out of 100.
Wow, they aced that test, whoever that PAC is.
I think that's probably why the 800,000 to 900,000 settlers in, let's just not say where it is, but settlers in a certain place, none of them work and they live off of government funding and they get free housing and healthcare paid for by the U.S. taxpayer.
And that's the kind of people that are influencing our 93% of our Senate. That's what you're telling me?
That might be why, I don't know, there might be a correlation.
And now the
there.
good news. Great. Okay, I'm glad he brought that up. We have reached a ceasefire deal. Isn't that great, Patrick? What do you think about the good news? Tell us more about the good news.
That's cool. You know, why didn't they just pretend to have a ceasefire a long time ago if they're not going to uphold the ceasefire? Why don't they just, you know, if they're just going to say words, why didn't they just say that a while ago if it's going to appease everyone?
I, for one, believe our ceasefire deal breaker allies in the Middle East. I think that even though they're breaking this, you know, that happens at first, you know, right?
I mean, they're our greatest allies. So
And that's what I'm saying.
they can make some mistakes, I guess.
And that's what I'm saying. Who are we to judge a foreign war? Total deceased is somewhere in the neighborhood of 68,000 dead Palestinians.
Pretty wild.
So believe it or not, we are very relevant in this. Whether it is our tax dollars that helped these particular drones, these particular Palantir software that identifies the Hamas people, the Hamas members. Whatever it is, we are invested in. We subtract all of those billions upon billions and trillions of dollars we invested into this. We still identify with this because of the Native Americans on this land and how we live our lives now. And it's like, whether we want to relate it or not, it's all just kind of conquering. This is the name of the game, I guess, here.
That's, I guess, how it's always been. I don't know.
And that's sad because we have Iranian bros. We have Qatari bros. We have bases in Qatar. Nice fucking bases. And like, what else? What's the other one? UAE, Kuwait, you know what I mean? Iraqi bros. Like, it's like that. You know, we have Muslim bros like that in America. And it's like, they're going to have to look at their Palestinian bros and be like, the same thing. You got to look at them like Vikings, I guess. And it's like, they just didn't really move forward in life with this, you know? And they let this technology, which I guess is a blessing, turn into a curse for their people and turn them into no longer in our modern world. And it's like, what happens? Now we're not over there, so we don't really have Al Jazeera or whatever.
There's kind of, how could they have prevented that from happening?
They couldn't. They're not far off of what cavemen are in Hamas, I imagine, or in Gaza, I imagine. So it's like, what do they have to combat Palantir software? What do they have besides bows and arrows? So it's like, I look at that as an American settler, even though I ain't even like, you know what I mean? I wasn't around for none of that. I didn't have no cannons or 6-shooters. But it's like, that's the same thing. It was a Wild West of this shit. Now imagine a Wild West in the dimension of digital, cyber dimension of this kind of shit. And that's what it is. These people are getting away with these kind of like genocidal level atrocities. I just said the number. 68,000 is not a couple dead bodies. 68,000 is not gang violence, okay? 68,000 isn't even like the war on terror. And that was like 15,000 Americans dead.
How many of them were children? You know? Good number. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's too high.
So I started another book. It's called The Cult of the Dead Cow. It's pretty cool. I haven't even really started. I just kind of read the preface for it. I haven't really read much about it, but
you haven't read the book?
I just got it like yesterday. I have not had a chance to. No, but I mean, yeah, it's pretty much about like a group of people that were hackers that invented the idea of hacktivism. You know, just people that, you know, they call bullshit on certain companies and on behalf of the people are hacking for them. And I guess some of these people work in Silicon Valley now. Some of these people work in DC now, and yeah, that's what it's about.
It's pretty cool. Kind of want to read that when you're done with it.
Yeah. Just lost history. That's what I'm into. If not lost history, future fucking things that are gonna be history. I can't deal with like contemporary, fucking look at this administration and we're gonna read a book that, you know, have you heard about Kamala Harris's new book, 107 Days? I saw her like promoting it and her on a stage, and I'm just like, who is reading that? You know why it's 107 days, right? Because that's how much time that Joe Biden dropped out, and then the election day was. She had 107 days. So that's her like take of being like, I guess I'm sorry, but I had 100 days.
Apparently, she's like a super drunk now.
She seems like it on stage, even.
But people have seen her at like parties recently, and she's just like sloshed.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. She probably would have done just the same amount of funding to that same great place that we all know and love. They, you know.
Right, like we're saying all this, and it's kind of like, how would
how-
this have played out with President Harris? Man,
If only, you know, if only we had a guy named Bernie Sanders that, you know, we could have elected and none of this would have happened.
I remember first hearing his name, and I was active duty. I didn't know what I was talking about with politics, and it was like the second or third year of me being in the military. And I remember it was the conversation about, I think, 2014, that election, like it was a midterm. And yeah, I had just a conversation with my friend of mine, my sailor friend, my shipmate, and his like fiance at the time. And yeah, they were just like talking about this upcoming election. I remember being like, I'm probably not going to vote, but of all these people, Bernard sounds like he makes the most sense. Even at like 21 or 22, that I remember saying that. Or no, I was 20. I was 20. I was born in 94, so this is 2014. So yeah.
He was,
Yeah, they cucked him. Yeah, the DNC definitely cucked the shit out of him for Hillary of all people. So Hillary's the bull, believe it or not.
but she's friends with Trump. They're buddy. They went to the island together, you know.
They're both pushing hats.
And also too, I meant to bring this up with the whole. Let's not say the name of the place, but I'm sure you all can guess where we're talking about. You know, with them doing the fun things that they're doing, we're going to be having a whole immigration crisis here pretty soon, because when you push people out of their homes, they have to go somewhere, and the UK is having a problem with it, and you know, Ireland's having a problem with it, and it's soon that's going to be Canada too. Soon America is. I mean, we're already, you know. If we want to prevent, you know, a bunch of people from immigrating, maybe don't destroy their homes. That might be a good, you know, good solution for that, is just let them continue to live where they are, and, you know, call it a day. I don't know why that's so wild of a thought.
I just feel like a lot of this shit is funneling a lot of people's lives. It's funneling anybody who has a working body that can make and reproduce another body, and they're funneling you into, you know what, let's just jerk off today. You know what I mean? They're funneling you into, let's go protest instead of just be a lady that's about having kids and about dating. You know what I mean? Like, it's fuck o'clock. If you're 20 something, it's fuck o'clock, everybody. It ain't, don't worry about these politics. It ain't about that. When I was 20, that was wrong to have to listen to, and it was really like we were just in, the reason why it even happened is because it was my boy who was like 6 years older than me, let's say at the time. And he like again, like he's with this lady and they were talking about, you know, the things they talk about. And like, I just needed a ride. We were on like a ride, like on a Memorial Day, that we were just on like a long, a road trip, you know what I mean? And like that just became the conversation. But it's like, if I had not have just had a friend of mine talking like that and I trusted him enough to be like that, I would not have had no loyalty. And I didn't to this day have no loyalty for like people like that. Having a favorite politician is like having a favorite like company, that like a favorite garbage company. Like, oh, that's my own Republic. They're better than everybody else. Like, what are you talking about? Who gives a fuck? It's a garbage company.
It's like
what are you talking about?
It's like having a favorite fleshlight.
Yeah, like what?
It's like, what do you?
The thing that fucks you? That's your favorite thing? That the Trump brand of the thing that fucks you? That's what you like? Give me a break.
But yeah.
What else you have? I ran out of
it's going to be about time. They're probably going to try to do another mandatory pokey. stick and poke tattoos.
Right. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Oh my goodness. We started talking about Michael Malone and Peter McCullough, the two doctors that are responsible for like being on Joe Rogan Experience, being responsible for being on InfoWars, people that are trusted by people like Alex Jones, people that are trusted to have like 11 or so mRNA vaccine patents, you know what I mean? And these different people are we just start having a conversation off air about it, right? And ultimately, Patrick ends up pulling up this video of just something he saw on the internet. And even I was looking at it, I'm like, this is kind of old. We didn't know if it was like real technology or really a real thing that exists. And I guess that long story short, it's pretty much the mark of the beast. And I'm like, man, people have been talking like that since 2020. People have been talking like that since the pandemic. And he goes, before we start talking about this, if I'm going to write this down, we're going to make this a note, we're going to talk about this on the podcast. Let me like fact check it. Let me see what's up. So this is my brother in Christ, Patrick here. He's a homie of mine, or he went to UMass. He's cool, you know. He's from Massachusetts. He's like the over there Massachusetts version of like a Catholic dude, and I'm like the California version of like a Catholic dude. And like we met here in Austin. We're doing comedy. We do whatever, right? So I didn't think much of like all of this shit. He ends up being this dude that like checks me about his own research, and then like us as a union doing this show, right? And I didn't even think to do that. I was gonna just go ahead, yeah. Hey, Mark of the Beast, let's start talking like that. He shows it to me. He goes into, again, this guy's from Massachusetts, looks up MIT's fucking paperwork within a couple seconds. I was like, I can do that, but I'm not going to do that when we're doing podcasting.
Let's throw the video up, and you can throw up a screenshot of the MIT article. And yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
And it comes back pretty much that one, here's mRNA technology. That's one thing. We all went through what we did with seeing this and understanding it in the last like 5 or so years. But in 2019, he pulls up a fucking article from MIT's website, and it's pretty much saying we're gonna get a QR that can be tattooed on a person's hand, and that QR goes to the exact data that is that human's technology, a GMO mRNA technology that is not natural DNA that a human would have, which all backs up everything I've ever heard since 2020. And he brings it up to us now, brings it up to me now, brings it up to my multiple personalities now in 2025, almost 2026.
That's why when I got the Pokey, I made sure to get the one that didn't manipulate my DNA.
This whole time I thought he was talking about sushi. This whole time I was like, what the fuck are we talking? Wait.
You gotta make sure you get the right Poke Bowls, you know.
So the Poke Bowls, is what we're talking about. And
you don't want to catch them all, you know.
And it seems like, we're catching them all, especially here in Austin. But man, how many people got genetically modified organisms going on in their bloodline right now?
I don't know about you, but like cutting a part of my DNA out and putting a synthetic line of code into my DNA, that just, I don't care what it does, that sounds like it could go wrong in a lot of different ways. And I remember hearing about that technology before 2020.
I remember the gaslighting through memes of being like, I hope the fucking phone that you have in your pocket doesn't trace you or something like that. And it's like,
but meanwhile it is. And then they have like They Live type technology. Like, have you ever seen that movie, They Live? It's a really good movie, but in the movie they have these things that basically, in like the movie Kingsman, technology that basically transmits emotion through frequencies, and the government has technology like that.
Like LRAD, what we were saying earlier, but that's just a noise. He's saying emotions now.
But yeah, this you can't even hear.
I was like, wait, what, is this what you were talking about a minute ago? And he's like, no, Peter. There's levels to this fucking LRAD technology. I'm like, dude.
So I'll put some links or clips up with it. But basically, what this technology is, they use like a high pitch frequency to, transmit like an emotion of despair or, hopelessness or, what have you. and they have an array of things that put out this frequency, and they also not only have that, and I'm pretty sure they have those up on cell phone towers, and it's like that like rectangle looking,
like a 5G tower, yeah.
Yeah, like they put them up like on the same things as those, but they use radio and TV. They can just put it in, in the background, in the back of like a news broadcast, and manipulate people's emotions in a really scary way. And that's real technology that exists. And it's, it sounds wacky talking about it. It sounds like a guy tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, it sounds like Justice League. Sounds like Marvel.
It's shit that makes you want to put a tinfoil hat on at the end of the day, because, not that would do anything, but...
Right, yeah. What is that going to do, right, to this kind of shit? Yeah.
But it's just being aware of this stuff is important nowadays, because they'll try to pull a fast one on you, you know, and it's apparently they're making it illegal to have a home garden now.
Yeah.
In certain states, and that's really weird. I don't know how you can justify that. It's kind of like the whole collecting rainwater.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I was gonna say that. That's what it sounds like. It's like, well, I realized that like that's what we're supposed to do. That's what the person that wants to pass the baton of life to the next generation, like that's what that person says. They tell you to put your phone down. Like, yeah, what this is godlike. This is great. Was sent by God. But the guy who did this is dead. His name was Steve Jobs, okay? The guy who owns Apple right now, he's pimping this out as much as he can. Everybody knows it. Everybody that works at Apple knows it. So it's like, now you make your Apple iPhone, Patrick. Go do that. And that's what I think we're doing with this podcast. So,
and phones are subsidized by the government because they want everyone to have a phone. Mm-hmm. Like iPhones should cost a lot more than they do.
But even if it was $1, the iPhone that you're holding in your hand, watching my face say this, the patent to create that and the concept of going, I'm going to get 100 different patents and put it in the palm of your hands. Nobody ever did that before the Nano, before the whatever at Apple. So it's like, do that with God, when life gives you lemons. Create in something in your hand of the things you're getting of the resources of your life. And this is what we do with this podcast. Man, you guys saw the damn y'all see the pool table we fuck around with.
Like with your phone, you can use it to, look at brain rot memes.
Yeah.
Or, you can use it to, watch memes that share knowledge or, share, information, and, you can go on archive.org and, there's a bunch of books and movies, and
you could use your phone for Apple Maps to take you to the No Kings protest, or you can use your phone to take you to like a comedy club, like see a show. Maybe.
You could go on a Zoom call to your local town hall meeting and,
and say some real shit.
Make your voice heard when they're, hearing people out for certain bills and stuff. It's a
never-ending struggle.
Exactly. And but yeah, phones,
I heard someone say something like this, like we were having a similar conversation like this, and it was like in the back room, Kill Tony, like everybody's just kind of waiting. And I kind of was talking about the war of bots, and I'm like, how does one manipulate a bot or manipulate a human to operate multiple bots? And then that's just my whatever, a random person that's one of us here at Kill Tony that's trying to just promote their dick jokes on the internet. What does that even look like? How does that happen? And then a friend of ours, his name is Micah Brown, he's a great dude. He said something like, they post about us, we post about them, dude. That's all it is. We're all bots. And I was like, exactly. This guy gets it. 10 points for Gryffindor. God damn it. Because that's all it really is. When you look at that and go, this guy's not real. You just made your account the other day. That's a person with a board of 100 Huawei phones saying the same shit. So it's like you can do that if you wanted to. If you have a neighbor that's going to help you with that. But it's like, whose neighbors are actually doing that kind of shit? And I can only really think of like Indians or Chinese folks that have like warehouses full of this kind of bot farms like that.
No, the bot farms are mostly at military bases.
Okay.
A lot.
Or that, yeah, or that too, yeah.
Or at least like the ones that like.
Or Tesla, something owned by Elon, maybe.
Are putting out like the crazy propaganda. There was Reddit. There was a Reddit leak. Reddit posted like their data of like.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, what
like
nation?
What cities use Reddit the most?
Yeah,
and the city was a city where a military base is, that the population is lower than the amount of people that were using
posting,
Reddit.
Yeah, on Reddit.
So,
yeah, Reddit's some fuckery. Reddit's definitely some alphabet boys shit. I really don't try not to fuck with it unless I like truly want to get like the grasp of like what something is that I don't know what it is, and just like what a bot would tell me it is. You know, I assume there is 0 humans on that fucking website.
I've kind of have a love-hate relationship with Reddit because, especially as of, the past few years, it's gotten really bot heavy and really just, it kind of lost what it used to be. But there's, some cool, like, niche subreddits that, especially like, if you're like hobby subreddits.
Yeah.
Like, there's corners of Reddit that, have cool little communities, but large portion of it is cancerous, and it's especially all the Reddits that talk about politics, it's all just fake accounts, and anytime someone tries to say something, with meaning or something that, has some sense in it, they get downvoted, or it's
a little hat trick.
And yeah, but it's the same for every platform, like YouTube.
Bot farming, yeah.
Facebook is the worst.
Yeah, I would say they're second worst after Reddit. Yeah.
When you look at it though, all of these big social media companies were created by the alphabet boys,
weren't they all?
The 3-letter, the 3-letter guys.
And if it wasn't them, it was some university that had feds letting them make whatever it is, I don't know. I look back at like that story about like the Winklevoss twins and Zuckerberg, and I think to myself, it was Obama's Department of Justice. What was stopping them from all just handpicking how that shit played out? What was stopping them from being like, oh, it's going to be what kind of company? Yeah, let's just have this guy who we can like control instead of these 2 Chads. Why don't we just do that? Yeah, we'll send a Chinese spy his way and we'll have him get married to her. Isn't that kind of what reality is right now? Why wouldn't Obama talk like that? Or at least his alphabet boys talk like that?
Yeah. They probably had a part in getting the Winklevoss twins out of it, and I think they even talked about that.
Really? Okay. So then, yeah, that's one of those things that like I don't need to look that up. That's
don't quote me on that, and like maybe not directly, but
enough fuckery happened with that. Like
something was up with them getting pushed out of the company. I remember. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And it's like, that's what that reminds me of. That's what I think of, because it's like you're both operating at the same Harvard level. Y'all are both looking at the world through the same like timeline lens, the same, contemporary lens of like, this is what's been happening, this is what the world's going to turn into. MySpace was really crushing it at this time also. A lot of people don't, like, when you think of that movie, The Social Network, Tom is not a part of that movie, you know? He kind of should have been, you know? Because any, like, Steve Jobs movie has, like, Bill Gates, you know? So it's like, well...
He just copied MySpace.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, wait, where was MySpace with all this? Wasn't Tom kind of crushing at this point? And, like, again, what deal do you think that fool took? Why don't we know where Tom is right now?
But Tom was, from what I understand, more of like the cyberpunk, for the people type of guy. And
he took the check. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. If anything, I feel like Zuckerberg and Winklevoss was like people at Harvard.
He sold MySpace, yeah.
Yeah, Tom seems more not fed, kind of private. Look, dude, I just do cyber fucking or whatever, these businesses. Like, I just make these different algorithm-based companies. Because, like, if you think about it, I don't know if you were around during this time, you probably weren't. People were, like, at fucking 16, 15, fucking around with coding. Just to be like, hey, this is social media, but doing coding. To just be like, this is my... I remember I did it for, like, Bam Margera or something dumb like that. And I just had my whole MySpace looking like that. Like, just looking like just something I was into. Or, like, wrestling or something.
Yeah, because you had
John
code,
Cena.
right?
Yeah, but all you do is just Google it. You Google the web search of like, I want this kind of MySpace, and then you copy and paste. Someone else does it, but it's like, it's already out there, and then, yeah.
Let's bring MySpace back.
Yeah, I know, right? But for comedians only. That would be hella cool. Like, of all the different people that have all my links, just me and you start the trend of being like, of one of those links is a MySpace link of like me and you. And then like we'll have this podcast like have a MySpace link. Why not? What are they gonna stop? Who's gonna stop me?
It's still around.
Yeah, it's still around. He sold it. It's some other people. I don't know who owns it now, but like that fool made bread. That fool made enough. Like whatever millions he made, it was like in the hundreds of millions that he sold that shit for. I want to say like 600 millions, I think. I don't know the number, but a lot of millions that it's like, I would have sold it for that much too, man. Fuck MySpace. Fuck me for all this shit. Because if you think about it, that's what like a lot of people do. Like that's just, the tech company, the tech sector is not that fucking serious, man. It's really not. It's like, yeah, they do whatever the hell, but it's like, they're trying to become, you know what I mean? Like what railroading was and like what Standard Oil was. It's like, you're not. We don't need social media. We don't need likes. We needed rails. We needed railroads. We needed gas. You know what I mean? We needed steel from the Carnegie family. We don't need your fucking bot farm, dude.
What happened with those monopolies, which is, the same thing that should happen to social media. It was trust busted. They broke up the trust.
Yeah.
And they tried to do it with Google. I remember they were trying to do it with Facebook, and all they did was just, fraction their stock up, but they were able to just stay the same company. It kind of defeats the purpose of that.
Defeats the purpose of the antitrust laws. Yeah, when Google's still a company today. All they did was just add another fucking like ticker number.
We need someone
to comply.
We need someone to just make another social media company and then just not sell out to the alphabets.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is Truth to Social, is kind of the last one. Or whatever, Blue Sky or whatever the fuck that is.
I mean, if Rumble got fix their website in their app, then maybe we'd be posting there, but it's impossible to post on your phone to Rumble. So you have to upload online. So Inside Baseball probably isn't interesting to the viewer. But
yeah, how about we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Is there anything left?
I think we covered pretty much everything. We could do a second episode after this. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Talking Sweet with Pat and Pete. And you can follow us on Instagram. You can find me Patrick Carpenter Comedy on Instagram.
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram, Grinch Martinez Comedy and Grinch Comedy on X.
Very nice.
Kind of seems like when we get politicians elected, they do what they want to instead of paying attention to the Constitution. I would urge you to look up the USS Liberty on the internet and take a look.